This is the start of a demonstration on color lithography. So this is the image that I've chosen to use. It's made of a range of drawing materials, mostly conventional stuff like crayon and Zika-Graphic. Use a spatter and gum mask out. The stone has been ground down to 220, so it's a fairly fine surface, so pen work is really good on a surface like that, easy to use, and the crayon's alright, although perhaps a little bit fine for some people. The image has been the old image has been ground down and the margins have been gummed out, and the registration marks have been set in the margins. This is a T-bar registration, which is a fairly simple way of registering for color. The only restriction is the borders are somewhat limited, but the positive side of it far outweighs the negative side in that it's very easy to do, easy to set up, and easy to kind of maintain through the printing. What I'm going to do now is process the stone, and I'll be giving details about that process along the way. But just before that, I'll do a few close-ups of the drawing and maybe talk a little bit more about some of the drawing materials and how they're used. The main element in this is this head, which is really just started out as a doodle, and there's something I quite like doing, just starting something and see where it kind of ends up. The material here is Zika-Graphic. That's the drawing material used. It's as you can see, brown in color, but prints black or solid color, depending on which color you want to use. Actually, the first thing I drew on the stone was this head here. I bought just a minute. That's the door. So here we are back at this head. This is the first thing that I drew on the stone, and I started out testing a material that's not usually considered a lithographic material. Most of the drawing materials are specially manufactured for drawing on stone, but this is like a wax pencil that I found. Sometimes these things work quite well, and I wanted to kind of test it out, so that's why I used it in this particular area. So one thing grew into another, and then that grew into another, and then I sort of picked a couple of sources to work with, and the thing is, you know, sort of coming along. It's probably okay now for the first color. I want to keep it sort of loose and a little bit unpredictable, so these are some of the things that are going to print in the first color. They won't look exactly like this, because when the stone is processed, it'll tidy up a bit, as they say, and look slightly different. Well, yeah, because a lot of the drawing material will come away in the kind of process. So that's it. We'll see how it goes as it's processed and printed. Talk on the image. I'm just removing the excess now. You can see the talc helps to absorb some of the greasiness, and it also gives the drawing a little bit of protection against the acid etch. Now I'm going to put a bit of gum in this bowl. This is the etch that I'm mixing up now. So I'm going to put about 30 milliliters, or about an ounce of gum in there. If you want to be precise, then you can use measuring tools to get the 1 ounce or the 30 milliliters. And then into that gum I'm going to drop 25 drops of nitric acid. This is the part you want to be very careful about. Nitric is very dangerous. 4, 5, 6. That's about 22 or 23, something like that. So I'll put that over to the side, put the covers on, and then I'll give that a bit of a stir because I don't want that to go down on the image without being thoroughly mixed up. Now I'm going to pour it just over here in this border here, get it all on, and then as quickly as possible sweep it over the image area. Then later on you can move it over the borders. It's most important that it covers the image first of all. And you can move it around with your hand. Although it is acidified, it's got the nitric acid in it, it's in such a weak mixture that it won't hurt your hand or anything, so you don't need to worry about that. And it helps, first of all, to distribute it, and then second of all, if you keep doing it, it spreads it around quite evenly. It's not essential that you do this, but it is essential that you spread it around very evenly. Now, you want to let that set for about 2 to 3 minutes. That's set for about 2 minutes now. And now I'm going to use these papers to take the excess gum off. So this is done using gentle but firm pressure, changing the paper. So I'm kind of mopping it off really, not scrubbing it, but just lifting the excess off. You can see it in the cloth there. Normally I would use specially designed gum cloth made from cheesecloth material, but these papers work quite good too, and they're a little bit faster, and they're throwaway materials rather than wash out and save materials, so they can be used too. Okay, so that's now down to a very, very thin film gum etch on the stone, and that's it for the minute. That will need to be dried. Use my trusty flag for that. You can see some of the places that I've gummed out the stone. In this area here, for instance, before I did the spatter, and in the window. You still see some spatter over in these margin areas where it shouldn't be, and I think it won't really stick. It'll be on top of the gum. So we'll see about that. Even if it does stick, it doesn't matter because it can be kind of fixed up in the end. So I'm just going to dry that down now. And you can see that that distinction of the border now, of the gum border, is gone. So now you see the drawing on the stone. Of course, the registration marks are still there, and everything is more or less ready to go for the next part. I'm going to leave this set now till this evening, and then I'll roll it up so that you can see what it looks like with ink replacing this brown and black material. So I'll see you later on this one then. So I've got the stone on the press now, and I've washed it out using